has always been a popular class. Why? Because it's a great DPS and can help your teammates clear rooms quickly and efficiently. Even with the nerf, is still a key part in your dungeons team and can help out a lot with basically anything. Well, more like DPS and stuff. But to be a good mage, you have to have the right build. And so in this video, I'll be teaching you guys the best budget build, the best build for if you have a little more money, and a couple tips and tricks. So Mage is a pro for Mage is actually it's really cheap. It's the cheapest class to kind of max out. You don't really need that much for it. Because Berserker, you need all the talismans, you need a maxed out sword, you need all this stuff to help your damage increase. But Mage, you don't need much. You just need the right reforges, the right build, the right weapons, all that good stuff. So let's just start off with the budget build. So for the best budget build, I'd consider using dark goggles. This is crazy even if you're have no money or you have a lot of money. I really suggest getting dark goggles. If you don't have enough money to even get necrotic, then I don't really know what you do. But you can get like Wise or something on these. But these are insanely good. They gives you plus 50% damage to undead monsters, and dungeons is basically filled with undead monsters. And if you 5-star it, it gives you a decent amount of health and defense. It's not that much, but it's still better than nothing. And then the intelligence is crazy high. It's at 500. It gives you 150 intelligence at the start with nothing. Put necrotic 240, and then in dungeons 5-star it gives you 500. This is the best helm, just because it gives 50% more damage, which is absolutely crazy. If I shot a mob for like 10 million or 10,000 damage, then without it'd do 10,000, and with it I do like 15,000. So it's essential for mage, though there is other options. But if you're going for a budget, then necrotic dark goggles are still the way to go. For your armor, you want Wise with the very Wise reforge, just because it gives it gives a decent amount of intelligence. It makes your weapons cost less mana to use them, so I'm using 25. If I was using full Wise, it'd be like cheaper, and so that's just the full budget mage. I won't go too in depth. If you have enough money, try to get a sheep pet. It's quite cheap now. For a level 100, you can get it for around 10 mil, 9 mil. I got this sheep pet for like 7 mil, and it's level 91. If you still can't afford that, just go for a lower sheep pet. It's like a mil, 2 mil. It's not that bad. Hopefully you can afford that. And now for the weapons. So weapons, you want this epic Dreadlord sword. It can be rare if you're even too broke for that. The problem with Frozen Cypher's Bonza Staff is there are millions of coins, and the Voodoo Dolls are mil. But the Dreadlord is actually 450k, and it's a great mage weapon. It does almost as much as the Bonzo Staff. Excuse me. And it just costs way less mana, and you can just spam this thing and basically never run out of mana. Because the Bonzo Staff, if you guys can see, is 49. Dreadlord Sword, 23. So I highly recommend the Dreadlord Sword for low money, because it costs like 500k on all. And if you get a rare one, then it costs like 20k. But 5-star this, put heroic on it. And I put Ultimate Wise 3, but if you can't afford that, don't put anything. It's cheap as it is. Now for your accessories, you want to put Bizarre on all your accessories. even though it minuses your crit damage by a lot, the damage that you do with the mage weapon is affected by ability damage, and ability damage is based on how much intelligence you have. So the more intelligence you have, the more damage you'll do, so you don't really need crit damage or strength. Bazaar gives you the most intelligence out of anything else, and so that's why you should just reforge your whole accessory bag to Bazaar. With the new update, it's really easy. You just put your whole accessory bag. Might take a couple tries, but it's worth it. Alright, so now for the more expensive build, and this actually isn't that expensive. It's quite cheap actually, and that's 3-4 adaptive with dark goggles. So this hasn't been used much, and another class has been, or another build has been the most popular and everybody uses. But in my opinion, this is way better. I can give you a couple things why. So for the most popular build right now, it's the Bonzo Mask. That gives you great health and defense. We can check it out on all right now. So the Bonzo Mask has 100 HP, 100 defense, and in dungeons give you 157 HP. Keep in mind that this is without any stars, so it'd be much more. Plus it gives you 100 intelligence, and its ability is when you die, you don't die and kind of gain a couple buffs. As you can see, this 5-star, in dungeons it gives you 400 HP, 250 defense, and almost 400 intelligence. This is really quite good. And then its ability is really nice too. So if you don't want to get one-shotted, the Bonzo Mask is pretty nice for tanking. So now for the rest of the set, and that they use Zombie Soldier. I'm gonna turn my GUI scale down. So the rest of the set is Zombie Soldier. This is a great overall set if you want good health, good defense, and good intelligence. If I just look over here and highest price, these are all Zombie Soldier. If we see, we have this Necrotic Zombie Soldier boots. So it gives about, oh wait, these are legendary. So Necrotic Zombie Soldier gives about 310 intelligence with 310 intelligence, 330 defense, 320 health. It's overall quite good in dungeons. Only thing bad about, so yeah, this is just pairs with the Bonzo Staff. The Bonzo Staff is also just kind of average. It gives 400 health, 400 health, 200 defense. So these are both quite tanky and give a decent amount of intelligence. But in my opinion, this is the best set. I'm using it right now. It's 3/4 adaptive with 1/4 dark goggles, and this is actually quite good in my opinion. So we have the dark goggles right here, and a clean version will give you no health or defense and 150 intelligence. But if you 5-star it and put growth 5, prot 5, and hot potato bucks on it, it will become way better. See, even if it gives no health or defense in dungeons, if you put growth 5, prot 5, and hot potato bucks, you'll have 240 HP and 70 defense, which is terrible, but it's better than nothing. And then for intelligence, you get 150 intelligence with no Stefan. Put Necrotic as at 240. 5 stars, it's at 500 in dungeons, which is better than the Bonzo Mask. Only thing bad about this is it doesn't give health or defense. Now the main point with Dark Goggles is its ability, 50% damage to undead mobs. So, and dungeons is basically filled with undead mobs. Like I said earlier, this is insane for dungeons. I would totally recommend it just because of that ability. It just will help you do 1/3 more of your damage, as long as you stay careful behind the tank or stay with the healer or whatever. So the rest of the set is adaptive. Reason why is because 5-star gives you more health, a little less defense, but it just gives a little more tanky. Just because the necrotic dark goggles don't give you that much. So I'm just using 3/4 adaptive instead of zombie soldier because it's a little more tanky, which is what you need because of this thing. Also, it gives you some intelligence when it's mage class. So it gives plus 50 intelligence per piece for mage class, meaning it gives 280, 350 intelligence, I think. Yeah, so it gives around 350 intelligence. No, 330 intelligence, which is better than zombie soldier. It's more tanky just because it has so much health. Little less defense. Actually quite a bit, but it's still better, I think, and more tanky than zombie soldier. More intelligence and more health. I'm not too sure if the defense thing is really that good, but this is definitely the set I recommend. I do a lot of damage, can clear floor 4s in this, and then remember, put all of them to necrotic. You can recombobulate all this gear if you're try hard, but I don't want to waste that money right now. I'm probably saving up for a scepter or something. So for the weapons you want, and you have a decent amount of money, you get these 3. Voodoo dolls a mil, quite cheap. Bonzer staff, about 3 mil right now, and then frozen scythe 7 mil. So if you are on a budget, don't even buy the frozen scythe. It's not that good. It does way less, twice as less than Bonzer staff. Just the only reason I use it is because it has a really low mana cost. But again, you can still use the Dreadlord sword. Voodoo doll is a must-have. It does crazy damage against bosses and everything. And Bonzo staff is great for area damage, great for clearing rooms. Stay behind a tank and you can just mow through those runes. Like, it's crazy. So this is just pierces, and if with the new mana recharge thing, it's nice to have something that doesn't cost that much mana and is still decent. But you can 5-star it, but it costs ice essence, which you get from frozen adventurers in the dungeon itself. It takes a while, I'll just tell you that much. If you do have money, put ultimate wise 5. I put ultimate wise 4 because I don't think it's worth it to get 5. I'm not sure about you guys. If you guys do want to go fully max, I did put it on my aspect of the end because I was doing drags before. But so put heroic, like I said, ultimate wise 4, 3, whatever you want to do. 5-star it if you can. If you can't, then that's too bad. The sheep pet, if you just get a level 100 sheep pet. As I said, it's not that expensive. If you do want to go a couple levels lower, like I got this 91 for 7 mil, you can save a couple million and it won't make that much of a difference. So that's the sheep pet. A couple tips and tricks before I leave or video ends is, with the new mana recharge thing, it's actually not a terrible nerf. What you can do is left and right click. So when you left click, you shoot out a beam of light thing, and if you hit a mob, then it will recharge your mana. And so you basically have infinite mana because you can just left and right click like that. And if there's multiple mobs, you get like and you basically never lose your mana as long as you keep hitting multiple of them, or one at least. So it's not terrible. Also, if you're out of mana because it just didn't work out and you forgot about it or something, you can go to your teammate and smack him with your wand or whatever, and you will get your mana back. Another tip is just, even with all this adaptive armor, you're still quite flimsy. I suggest staying behind a tank or at least with someone else, because Dreadlords are really OP and they can just two-shot you. So I did miss a couple things in my video, and so I'm just gonna go over those things real quick. And that is the 2 new weapons and the ice spray wand. Okay, so this is a rare job. I'm not sure where. I kind of forgot. But it's basically you right click, produces a snow cone in front of the mob. It does 52,000 damage and freezes them in place for 5 seconds. Frozen mobs take 10% increased damage. So obviously they're hella expensive, 72 million, 80 million. Wouldn't recommend buying it unless you're a true tryhard, but I'm guessing they'll go down in price. Probably not that much because these are very rare, but I still wouldn't suggest buying one. If you do get one though, these are quite overpowered. As you can see, it does 52,000 damage. My Bonzo wand does 1,000. This does 5,000. This does 885, 2,400 a second, and this does 51,000. So obviously it's quite OP. So I'm just gonna put those out, and then the next other item is the Spirit Scepter. This is actually quite affordable. It's probably still gonna go down in price, but as you guys can see, it's the Spirit Scepter. It's going for 28 mil. It shoots a guided sheep. This is basically a Bonzo staff, but better. Basically just an upgraded version. It does way more damage. Costs a lot more mana, but it does more damage. Basically what it does is shoots a bunch of bats that you can control with your crosshair. I still think they're gonna go down in price to around 10-15 mil, so I'd consider waiting a while before you buy it, just to save a lot of money. Highly recommended. It's just insanely good. It's great for clearing rooms. As I said earlier, it's just a better version of the Bonzo staff, has a bigger radius, and it does a lot more damage. So I definitely recommend getting that if you do have the money. If you don't have that much money, I'd wait till it goes down in price a little bit since it just came out. So those are the 2 weapons I forgot to talk about. And there's actually a new class that a lot of people have been talking about for Mage, and that's full adaptive. And the problem with, full adapt is fine. It gives you good tanky health and a decent amount of mana. But as I said earlier, you're really not going to be tanking that much. You're usually just going to stick with a healer, a berserker, or a tank, or whatever you want to do, and clear rooms with them. Basically help them clear rooms while they tank the damage or help you destroy them. So you don't really need to be tanking. Plus, this does a crazy amount. You get 511 intelligence, which is like 200 more than an adaptive helm, which makes it do a lot more damage. Then you also got the ability, which is 50% damage to undead monsters. This is just great for clearing rooms and getting a better score. Though it does not work on most of the bosses, it's still good for clearing rooms. And even against the bosses, you'll still be doing more damage with the necrotic dark goggles instead of the adaptive helm, because it gives more intelligence. And so yeah, I'd still suggest this. Another thing I missed is put loving on your chest plate. It does 5% more ability damage, which is crazy. It's great. It gives less intelligence, but the 5% is worth it. And then I suggest putting wisdom 4 or 3 on your armor pieces. I put last stand because I used to try to be a berserker or a tank, but I switched over to mage recently. So that's everything I missed. And so hopefully you found this helpful. But anyways, peace.